It never gets old. It never gets old, Dom.
No. How many... I won't say how much money he's earned, but how many appearances have you made since around a ballpark figure?
Oh, mate, I couldn't tell you what the ATO knows of. Or...
No, let's not talk the cash. Let's talk listen, Dom, do you mind coming to this and this? How many?
Yeah, there's been a few. I think I made a bit of an active effort after that game to try to
make yourself available.
Yeah, make myself available a bit
just
more.
Just for the people.
So, yeah, I did that. But, yeah, they still come around. But they've gone a bit quiet lately, Simmo. So,
I know the feeling, mate.
Should have the quartet. So if Vardy was still in WA, you would have had your Gov, Vards, Liam and yourself, or vice versa. You had that whole group together. Yeah, what a wonderful talking troupe that would have been.
They're the dregs. The goal kick is the one they want to see. Not Gov.
Well, Scully's tried to. Scully reckons he was the main man apparently.
The insertion king.
Welcome, Dom Sheed. Thank you. Welcome, Dom Sheed.
Thanks for having us.
Big day yesterday for the footy club. Emotional couple of days for the football club, but just the emotion of the win, and in particular, everyone in the song. You were down there. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been. There are a few blokes that didn't know the words, to be honest. But, I mean, off the back of a couple really big days at the club and the news that hit, I think it was exactly what the club needed, mate, to be honest. It was the fans turned out. We played a good brand of footy. And, you know, this game that we played yesterday, it was sort of building for the last month. So it was good to be able to execute it on a day that was so important for everyone. So, yeah, it's sad news. And... Sellers will be missed, mate, for sure.
How does the club handle a situation like that? I mean, unfortunately, it's not the first time the clubs have to deal with tragedy. Just talk us through a little bit about the process of dealing with, because it's not just the players, there's 44 players, but there's another 50 staff as well. And when these situations arise, how does the club go through that?
Yeah, I mean, we had training D-Day the other day, and it was sort of, we had Pikey come in and sort of brief us with Bally and Minnie and told us the news, which was pretty rattling, to be honest. But it was get on with it if you want, boys, because we've got a game tomorrow. Or if you need to take some time, feel free to go home and just do what you need to do, but no pressure at all. And yeah, the women's team was there as well, so it was a whole footy department thing. So yeah, it was handled really well by the club. They put no pressure on anyone, and the fact the boys were able to get through that training day and then back up to perform like that was a credit to them. So they handled it really well, Simmo, I thought.
This is Andrew McQualter talking about the approach going into the game. This is 15 seconds of the coach.
There's no right way to do it. We were just open and honest and raw, and we let people just have whatever feelings they had. And when we got here today, we just asked people to play in the right spirit and put their emotions into being a great teammate like Adam was, and we got the performance we got.
It is difficult, and we talk about the no right way, and no one wrote a book in regards to that. Craig McRae was very emotional about it with Scott Selwood's involvement and the football club, and they tried to keep it away from the group, and then they told them all post. Again, it's just, but football clubs are great places to be around in times of tragedy, though, Dom.
Oh, absolutely, and we've had a couple over the years, Simmo, and you know. It really is the best workplace you can be in when it comes to those sorts of things. The support and help you get from everyone is amazing, and as a playing group especially, we can't complain with that, because there is always that underlying care and support. So very grateful to be part of this system, and West Coast especially. But it's never easy. I think the Selwood family, just their impact widespread across the whole competition, West Coast wouldn't be the only ones who are hurting.
And Oscar Allen's gone through his own personal issues, and he was pretty emotional post-game and spoke really well. How's he holding up in the last month? What have you seen? What have you worked with him?
Yeah, he's been better. He obviously struggled a bit with a lot of the media stuff around his meeting with Hawthorn or whatever went on there. But, I mean, in terms of the playing group, you know, it was sort of business as usual as always with him. Like, as players, we always understood from the start, like, these things are going to happen. And it's a shame that it unfolded the way that it did, especially in the media, to the point where it had such an impact on him. He had to, take a few days off and miss a game. So we never want to see that. And, his mental health, I guess, is our number one focus, albeit our captain as well.
Dom Sheed in the studio, thanks to Hungry Jack's, the all-new Eggs Benny, only to Hungry Jack's. So Dom, in regards to that, and Simmo touched on it at the opening of the show just after 6 o'clock, do we, media, social media, fans, other players, the wider community, have to be better in the space of being careful how we target players? Have you felt pressure from afar from people saying, shouldn't be on the list, where's Dom Sheed gone, he's dining out on one goal, all that sort of stuff? Does that affect you?
Yes and no. I mean, depends how much you read into it and depends how public knowledge it is, really. But, I mean, people's just, surface level opinions on my game of footy, probably not so much. If it got to something a bit deeper, like Oscar's level, it probably would. And I'm lucky I've never been in that situation. I've been dropped many times. And
look at me for.
Yeah. And but I do think there is a level of, space and privacy that the media can sometimes not allow the players to have when we probably feel like it's required, albeit do have a job and really respect everyone's roles and what they need to do.
Okay, let's start talking about the game. Tell us because I obviously have exited almost 12 months ago. What have you seen happen in the last 12 months? What changes have you gone through as a player with a new coach or new everything, new CEO, new list manager? Lots of changes. What's been the biggest transition you've seen with some of the younger players and the style of play?
I think just having a younger group and fresher eyes, Simmo, it's, we often speak about all 18 teams. They play very similar and they have very similar game plan. The hardest thing for me has been learning the new words to everything.
New language.
It's the same thing. I'm still using your old language.
Yeah.
Still pulling myself
Keep
up.
it going,
But
mate. Just
it's
give me something to hang on.
Yeah. It's been exciting though. It's been young. Yeah. Minnie's done a really good job. Like any new coach coming in, they really focus on building a good connection and relationship with the players first and foremost, and then we're layering in all of the game plan stuff. And at the start of the year, you weren't really sure how you were going to go because you hadn't actually versed genuine opposition, and we got found out a few times, but he's been really consistent with his reviewing and what we're going after each game, and that hasn't wavered since the start of pre-season, what we're going after. So it gives the boys real clarity on, hey, we'll get results if we do X, Y, Z. And we got that yesterday, but we felt like it had been building for a month before. So young group, we're energised. We've still got so much growth in us, obviously, with the 1 year win for the year, but the boys can sort of see a light at the end of the tunnel. And not that we didn't have belief, but I think 4 points definitely helps.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of it's Baker and Graham coming over, and about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I saw a chain of possessions from the back half where Baker was moved back there, and he just ran straight towards goal, forward handball, and it's something that we didn't really do a lot of back in the day. How important's he been?
Yeah, incredible. Yeah. Incredible. He's got a great footy brain as well. You'd really like him, Simmo.
A bit loose off the field back in the day.
It hasn't quite come out to me yet. I haven't got it out of him, but he's a good country boy. He gets the game. He loves the boys. Yeah. He's a good leader. He's your Tommy Cole type personality. So, him and Graham, they've been really good. And Matty Owies, he's a good bloke, loves the boys. He's an ultimate professional as well. So I think it's good to bring in some of these middle-aged to older people to actually show these young blokes training standards and performance and best prep and all of these things that you need to know as a young bloke. And you don't learn that without actually following senior players.
I saw this pop up on social media last night. Another radio station asked Liam Baker, you probably would have had some regrets over the last 9 weeks with what's going on and haven't got the win. And he just couldn't get the answer out of his mouth quick enough. He said, I've got no regrets coming to this football club. This is the best thing I've ever done. And, but this is a club he wanted to play for. I mean, he got his opportunity at Richmond, great part of the Richmond culture, premierships as well. But you can just tell, he just looked so happy yesterday. He looked probably the most relieved or the happiest about a win. He was chasing blokes around on the ground to high five and hug and hold. It meant a lot to him.
Happy
yesterday.
for the coach, I think.
Yeah,
There's a lot of players who were just, as much as they wanted to win, it looked like they wanted to win for Minnie, which is a great sign for him.
Yeah, for sure. And it means Minnie's obviously got the players backing, which we never doubted from the start. And that's why Bakes has been so good, along with Jack, coming across, having already known Minnie and been coached by him, that it actually helped glue the sort of team together and the coach and actually on the field driving what we're trying to get out of it because they've done it before. So, they've been really good. And he is one of those blokes, Goss, you walk into the club and he's always smiling. You've got a couple of them. Liam Ryan's one. You walk in, he's always smiling.
I don't know if he's always smiling.
To me, mate.
What about you, mate? Let's get on to you. Where you at? Where's the knee at? It was a pretty up and down knee, black and white, pretty straightforward reconstruction. So
yeah, it was a straightforward ACL. So it was
still major, but.
Yeah, major in terms of the ACL was gone, but there was no other damage around the ACL, which gave us great confidence that it's a straightforward ACL and I can get back and, the rehab process, as much as it's still a 12-month process, it's the ACL that we're fixing.
This year?
Not this year, mate. Not this year. I think if I was going to come back this year, it'd be for the last month, and that's without any setbacks in a 9-12-month rehab process. So I'll sit out this year, get my knee feeling as good as possible. I'll start running in 4 weeks, so we'll probably get a better gauge then how I'm going. But you can't really do much or say much until you start running and backing up those sessions before you start to go, all right, how's your body feeling and the rest of it.
And the decision on your future is something you're just going to sit on for a while, see how the body looks?
I think we have to, mate, just because I'm out at the end of the year and, I want to get my knee back being as good as possible before we start any conversation. So right now that's my focus and we'll work through things in the later stages of the year. But the club and I, we're both aware of the situation and they're allowing space just to get the knee better and then we'll start talking probably post the bye.
You watching much footy?
Yeah, I watch a bit. It's weird. I've actually probably watched more than I have in previous years, and just because I haven't been playing.
What are you saying? What's anything that's changed from any trends that you're seeing that good teams are doing? Is anything jumping off the page?
I don't know. I'd be keen to ask you, but every year the game changes in some way, shape, or form, and me personally, I haven't really put my finger on what it's been.
Who have you liked to watch the most?
I do enjoy watching Collingwood.
Yeah.
Like, I do enjoy. They're just there.
They love that you watch them.
Yeah, well, I think they're a core group of players who have played a lot of footy together, and it sort of reminds me of 17, 18, 19, where, they're there, they're a well-oiled machine, and you can just see what each other are doing. They just understand their teammates, and it's probably something I watch them and go, I strive for our young playing group to be like, and that takes time. It takes games together.
Well, the thing that I've noticed now out of the game is Collingwood's probably the best at the little things that we valued. We used to value knock-ons and predictability, and he just walks the ball over the boundary line versus trying to keep it in. And I think they're in a great spot with that, regardless of talent or system. They just got this. They must show it like every club would show their trademark clips, but I feel like they've got real specific fundamentals which they reward every week that no one really sees.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they're able to start delving into those small fundamental things because they've nailed all the other ones, all the other big rocks. So, and I think that's going to hold up at the end of the season when the big games come around.
I want to take a call. Dom Sheed's with us. Adam from Padbury was at the game yesterday. Adam, you want to say something about yesterday's proceedings?
Yeah, guys. Look, I what you're saying, Dom, actually really resonates at the moment with me. I've actually been seeing, I follow the Eagles on the Facebook page, and some of the vitriol that was actually targeted at Oscar last week after he was managed out of that game on the Facebook page was disgusting. Then we had yesterday. I was sitting on the eastern end of the ground, but underneath the eastern scoreboard, and every time he went near the ball, there was one particular person, and they might be listening. I don't know if they are, but that every time he went near the ball, he just yelled out. He was cheering, "Go Hawthorn!" I had kids around me asking, "What does that mean, Dad? What does that mean?" And it's people need to pull their heads in. It's disgusting, some of the comments and the stuff that happens behind keyboards and at the games that you call yourself a supporter. It really infuriates me. I've been a member of that club since 1996, and don't get me wrong, we all get emotional, but that is just evil and wrong. And people need to actually start to pull their heads in and think just because these guys are really good at a skill and fantastic footballers, it doesn't mean they don't freaking hurt, and those comments and those things don't actually hurt. That's all I need to say to anyone that's out there that actually thinks about posting or thinks about saying something, even if it's the umpires, the opposition players. We're all human. We just need to actually pull our heads in and think about the human on the other side of this.
Well spoken, Adam. Thank you. Adam from Padbury.
Oh, well spoken, but I think the supporters that West Coast have been, I mean, there's a few bad eggs out there, but Dom, you'd have to admit the support that the club's had, they've just had our backs and they've continued to do so. And when it turns around, look out, it's going to be
43,000 there yesterday again.
Yeah, look, and they finally got rewarded for some support. So, understand, Adam, there's always going to be one, isn't there?
Yeah, I appreciate your comments, Adam, but I agree there's out of every 100, there's always one that ruin it for everyone. But we do have a lot of great supporters at the same time, and we've had a few tough years, and you just see through crowd attendances, fans just rock up week in, week out. So there is plenty of support there, I get it, but, there's always that one or two people that can ruin it for the rest.
In the end, it's just footy.
It's just a game of footy.
Tell us about some of the moves that Minnie's made. So obviously Hoff into the midfield is something I didn't see coming. Goss was getting into Marek for his 2 missed kicks on the weekend, but him down back. There's been positional changes. Obviously Baker coming in, and he could have been on ball because they need on ballers there, but him playing half back. You got Ruben playing half back as well. It's sort of you got Liam Ryan and Brockman on ball on the weekend. Is it settling a little bit, these positional changes? Have you seen some growth there?
Yeah, I think he's starting to settle on what a 22 looks like in what position. I think over the last 8 weeks he's sort of was still trying to figure it out and trying different players in different positions, which is great, which is what a new coach should be doing, right? And I guess he's trying to be wary about throwing the magnets around too much and creating too much instability that I think on the weekend we probably got a better look at these players in these positions, and it looked really good. But Bakes could have been a midfielder. Duggo could have been through there more as well. And we've got Brady Hoff, who's gone into the midfield. He's got all the attributes to be a midfielder, Hoffy, and he's had a couple poor games in there, and it was just so good to see him play his best game in the midfield. He looked really comfortable in there, and he's one of those players, he always took the best small forward in the back line. So is it something now he can add a string to his bow and take the best inside midfielder in a midfield? Who knows? But these are the sorts of things that Minnie will continue to work through.
All right, I'm going to ask a hard question, Goss.
Enough Dorothy Dixes, mate. Right?
So
here we go.
Can Darcy and Jackson play together?
Can Darcy and Jackson play together? Oh, I was surprised when he was first coming over here because Darcy was so good. I was surprised when they first got him. In saying that, you're not going to say no to Luke Jackson, are you? So,
no. We met him and he said no to us.
He said no?
Yeah, I think he was already. It was just kicking some tyres.
Yeah, there you go. What do you think?
Well, I think they can make it work.
No.
What's your take on Fremantle? What do you see from?
They've played some good footy. They haven't got the results or been where they want to be, but their best is very good and it's hard to beat.
Right.
They're young, as Simmo said. They are the youngest team on the weekend.
Were they the youngest team? Yeah. See, they don't seem that young when you're watching them. They don't seem like the youngest.
Well, because
team
they've got Cox, Ryan, and Pearce. Those have been around a long time, senior players. But then the rest of them, Sarong and Brayshaw are mid-20s.
Yeah.
Then you got a lot of boys. Then you got kids.
Yeah, and I mean their expectation this year, I'm sure, would have been that they have won more games of footy, right? But I mean on the Darcy and Jackson thing. we had Cox and Nat Nui on ours, and you had your own struggles trying to fit them both in at times.
I analysed it.
Analyse it.
Thought he was better than both of them.
Who was knocking on your office door every
There's a few
day.
discussions. There's a bit of delusion. He's like, why am I playing? I said, well, you've got a 7-time All-Australian and you've got a generational ruck. Like, where do you fit? And he goes, well, I've been playing better than Nick Nat. Okay.
Played the flag.
Go upstairs and tell Niz that. But yeah.
All right, so who wins it for right now? We're about midway through the season. I'm going to throw it out there, Dom. Give us your perspective. Who are the genuine contenders right now?
I think if Gold Coast finish top 2, top 4, they're going to be a real chance. They've been strong at home. They're very hard to beat at home, and I don't know. Could it be their year? It'll definitely be the first of finals anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just whether we know, living in a different state, how important it is to finish top 4 in your push for a grand final. So it takes you a long way. So if they can do that,
Gold Coast.
I'll write that down.
Next, Collingwood have to be. Yeah.
Collingwood have to be in there, and Brisbane also.
Still Brisbane after yesterday, even.
I think so. Yeah, I think you need a couple of those. You can afford a
They've only
couple of
won
those.
2 of their last
year.
5.
Yeah, I still think
Okay.
I still think they've got the list and
one more.
Yeah, and one more.
So everyone, Gold Coast, Collingwood, Brisbane.
Yeah, the Dogs have had a couple good wins, but are they going to go all the way? I'm not sure. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice work by you.
Last question for me. Anything you're pushing at the moment? What's the side hustle?
The side hustle.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I got a couple little things on the go, but I'm also,
Only cashies.
but nothing major. I'm obviously, as I start to transition out of footy, whether it be end of this year or end of next year,
Yep.
I am becoming a lot more proactive of trying to hone in on what I actually want to
An
do
entrepreneur,
post-footy.
Goss.
Is he
Always.
really?
An
Well, I reckon
entrepreneur.
you've
took
got
on
some
Hungry
media
Jack's.
skills too. Don't worry
Yeah.
about that.
Oh, there you go. Thanks. But I don't know at the moment, mate. I'm keeping a lot of my options open and exploring a few
Yeah, good
different
on you,
things, mate. So
You
it's
can come
good
back
fun.
any time if you bring Hungry Jacks.
Thanks, mate.
It's our payment.
Where'd you
not
get them
yours.
from?
South Perth. Hungry Jacks, right near my
boy.
mate.
How,
So-
We got your
be
5%
careful what you
off.
say. Be careful what you say. How was the service?
He was
I
a bit
know the
late.
owner.
He was late. So
Yeah, it was late, but
Busy's
it
good
was
for you.
okay. It was good. It was good, mate. It was good. There's I always never know whether to go Hungry Jacks or Macca's. They're right next to each other. I always try and lean to Hungry Jacks.
Oh,
I
you
always
should.
try and lean to Hungry
Absolutely. On Tuesdays, it's the other mob, but today's
Yeah.
it's all about
just
Hungry
make sure
Jacks.
my daughter's not working there.
Yeah, what about that? Hey, just quickly,
Hello.
day off today? For the club, the boys?
Rehab boys will have
Rehab,
them.
yeah.
Yeah, day off though. Yeah.
All right. Hey, mate, all the best in recovery from the knee. Whatever the future looks like for you, you still go down in the history of the West Coast Eagles and AFL as one of the great moments of our time.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming in. You've got
Thank
a
you
great
for that.
footy brain. We appreciate you coming in. And we'd love you to have you back in anytime you want to come back.
Thanks, Goss. Cheers, Simmo.
Hey, Dom.
There he is, Dom Sheed joining us for the team at Hungry Jacks, the all-new Eggs Benny, only at Hungry Jacks. News not too far away, Mark Duffield to preview. And between the lines, what the coaches say and what Simmo says they're trying to say. That's still to come.